What's up, guys? Ergor here again with some more Diablo 4 Season 3 news. Today, Blizzard posted on their YouTube channel a gameplay reveal video for Season 3, and it actually showed off a lot more than I expected. I didn't think we'd be seeing any of this until the stream tomorrow. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised how good it looks. The vaults in particular look a lot cooler than I thought they would be. There looks like there's going to be a ton of the traps and hazards all over the place, which I didn't expect when they were talking about them. I think that will make the hazards and traps interact with the warding system in an actually pretty interesting way. It'll create a pretty good gameplay loop because it's actually going to be a lot harder than I initially expected to maintain your warding stacks. But it also looked like they give you a lot of warding stacks to work with. So it won't be like it probably won't be a horribly unforgiving system, but it looks like it'll still take some skill because there's so many traps. It's also interesting that they're trying out a stationary boss and then just using hazards and traps like you would see in the rest of the vault as like the mechanics to move around for the fight. Could be pretty cool, especially since I would assume that they'll remove stacks of warding if you get hit by them. I also really like the sound of the horde mode that you have to do at the end of a vault. They said that at the end of each vault, there's a room that will have tons of traps going off constantly in it, and there will be constant waves of enemies for you to fend off at the same time. So that sounds like it'll actually be really fun to try to maintain your warding stacks during. It also sounds like monster damage doesn't remove warding, which is a good thing because at least like a lot of auto attacks and stuff, there's no way to avoid. If something swings at you, if it gets close enough to swing at you, it hits you. So it's good that those probably won't remove warding because that would feel pretty cheesy, to be honest. They also potentially implied that the vault entrances show up randomly through the world rather than just being somewhere you go to, like how dungeons currently work. But I'm not sure if that's accurate. It could just be that the entrances are in preset places like the dungeons and you just go there to enter them. We'll just have to see when the season goes live. I do also think that the fact that you can get multiple extra chests at the end of a vault, depending on how much warding you have still left on you, is really good. That's going to create some really satisfying situations where you have like a bunch of extra chests to open because you played really well. Hopefully the loot in them is actually pretty good so it doesn't just feel horrible. Because it would suck if they make this mechanic that has a lot of potential to feel really satisfying, and then the loot from it sucks and nobody cares. I think as long as, if nothing else, it gives a lot of legendaries and it gives a lot of the stones for the companion, and as long as the companion feels satisfying to use, I think that'll go a long way to making the vaults feel worthwhile. I didn't talk about this much in my last video, but I do like how the implementation they have for the tuning and governing stones for the construct companion look pretty cool. They're definitely it's definitely like similar to how sockets and support gems work in PoE, but not like completely, because it's certainly not as robust of a system, but I like how they're kind of toying around with a similar idea, and hopefully that means that they'll try, if this goes over well, they'll try and implement something like that as some sort of progression system in the future. It doesn't need to be PoE's way of doing it. The game should be different in my opinion, but that doesn't mean that they can't take that concept and make it their own. And it looks like that's absolutely what they're doing with the Seneschal. I'm also wondering if you can stack the same tuning stone multiple times on one governing stone, because in the gameplay they showed off, it looked like the fire beam channeling ability that you can put on the robot. It looked like they got it to chain like a ton of extra times. I am still pretty disappointed that the Gauntlet isn't coming out right at the launch of the season, but it does sting a little bit less knowing that they've tuned it specifically for not only your character to be level 100, but also to essentially have their build completed, have maxed out gear and everything. I still don't love it because the kind of people that would be like going really hard and trying to top out the leaderboards in the first place will have those characters completed a lot sooner and be getting bored already. But maybe this will allow the slightly more casual players the opportunity to have a character ready in time for them coming out. I don't think that's a great excuse personally, because with the way the leaderboards work, even if those less hardcore players took longer to get a character ready, they could just progress in the leaderboard for the next week that comes after they are ready. But it could be worse, I guess. I mean, I do think it coming out partway through season 3 is better than them pushing it back to season 4. It does potentially, it could potentially be the more cynical option, which is that they are just holding it back because they want to bring people back halfway through the season. But it could also just be that the Gauntlet isn't actually ready yet. It could be that they genuinely think that it's better to give people time to build their characters up before the Gauntlet comes out. There's no true way to know what it is, but I still think it would have overall been better for it to come out at the beginning of season 3. But that's just my opinion. They also talked about one thing that's kind of interesting with the Gauntlet that I think they may have gone over in BlizzCon, but I don't remember for sure. But they said that if you're not quite ready for the leaderboards, there's like a pre-ladder that you can progress through, and each rung of the ladder you get like a new seal, which is, it looks like it's just a visual representation of how far you've progressed. And then once you get to the top of that ladder, then I believe you can start progressing in the leaderboard itself. That's what it seemed like. So that's good for the people who are a little less sure about their ability to do the leaderboard stuff right away. But yeah, overall, I actually really liked how the gameplay looks. It looks surprisingly good. I was a little concerned. Like the post yesterday definitely piqued my interest, but I was reserving excitement mostly for once we got to see how everything looked. And obviously, we still have to reserve our excitement a little bit until we actually get our hands on the new season and feel how it feels. But I'm definitely more excited now after having seen it rather than less, which is a good thing. This was definitely a net positive. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm going to be covering all of the news over the next couple days. We've got the live stream tomorrow morning, and then we've got the patch notes the day after, and then a few days after that, we've got the season. So I'll be covering all of that on the channel. So like and subscribe if you want to see that new information as soon as it's available. I'll be getting videos up as soon as I can every time we have new info. Peace out.